And what up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. What can I say? You could watch it if you're watching right now, or if you're listening on Omni Studio, iTunes, and All Things Comedy. Sponsor for the podcast is onthevolleyapparel.com. And if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, they have tanks, tees, hoodies, and sweatshirts for men and women, and with hip hop, soccer emblems and mashups on the front. We have our own merch there. We have 3 types of t-shirts. I'll put the link in the bottom of the video. So if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe and check out the link. And if you're just listening, you could just go to onthevolleyapparel.com. What's up, y'all? Thanks for listening and watching every week. We have some of the usual suspects. We got Neil, Chelsea fan from San Diego, stand-up comic by way of India. What up, Neil?
Well, how's it going?
I feel like Neil's look changes every week. Is it just...
Yeah, I green ski. This is a green screen.
Oh, you green screen some, yeah. I told him earlier, I'm me green screening me in front of a green screen. So that's basically what this is. And we got Lee, Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan, straight out of England. What's up, fam? How you doing?
All good, man. All good.
Good, chilling. And speaking of England, there's no Premier League. There's Premier League this weekend, but we do have like some results, like from England's game against San Marino and Albania. So we could talk about that. And I specifically want to go to Roy Keane's comments on Maguire's header. Was it that he scored against San Marino and Albania, right? But it was
both headers.
But it was an Albania header. I think when he slid across the grass, put his hands to his ears as if to silence the critics. And Roy Keane is like, you can't just do that because you scored in an international against Albania. I'm going to paraphrase for Roy Keane. And I agree with him. It's like you haven't silenced the haters. And actually, they're not haters because they've been right. Like, when I think about Maguire, I like Maguire. I want every Man United player to succeed. But if I think about Pogba at 89 million has done more for Man U than Maguire at 80 mil. And Pogba still hasn't done enough. So Maguire has no reason to like celebrate as if he just told everybody and showed everybody. Like that type of stuff that he did, he has to do it week in, week out, and he will be celebrated like that. But if you're just so sketch, you're so sketch, especially when I was saying before, you're the captain, and the amount of times to have a captain who looks afraid on the pitch is kind of bananas. Like that sends negative ripples throughout the rest of the team. So I don't know what your opinion is, Lee, or what they were saying, what else they were saying about it in England, or what they were saying about Roy Keane saying it. But like, how do you feel about that? And congrats on England on qualifying for the World Cup and hammering both these teams that are hammerable.
I kind of like see Roy Keane's point. Like the knee slide, I thought was excessive. It's like he's, I don't know, proving he's a hard man by punching a child or something. Kind of was what it's like.
Right. It does take a hard man to punch a child.
So was it? I just looking at, he called him pathetic for it, which I kind of agree with that. It's a little bit over the top, like just head your goal in, give it a fist pump and keep it moving, kind of thing.
But we'll do it with class like Mikel Antonio when he scored on the USA today. Like for a second there, I was like, did he play for the US? Is the US a club? Because he barely celebrated, and that was a fucking
Yeah, it was an awesome
lightning
goal.
bolt screamer that he scored.
That was a goal that deserved a knee slide.
Yeah, that's a knee
Yeah.
slide goal. Yeah. That shit was hit from indirect free kick territory and straight in the net. And yeah, that was some Thor shit that Mikel Antonio did today. But England's form, like, it's good to see them like express themselves like that and get those goals. And even the 10-0 win was against San Marino, because to me, I kind of place Albania and San Marino, even though it might come off a little bit disrespectful, in the same sphere.
No, it's very disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful.
San Marino is the lowest ranked FIFA team across the world. Like it's 210. It's the lowest. It's not just UEFA. Yeah.
Their guys
lower
aren't
than
even
Sri
pros.
Lanka. Yeah.
So we should have won 20-0. So this was a bad performance.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. But their coach is like won like 2 out of 30 something games, and he's still their coach. Like, I guess, like, that's where their expectations, that's where Ollie can coach there and be good.
Didn't Maguire score versus San Marino too?
Yeah, he scored the first header in both games, I think.
So I wonder, like, because I didn't see all the goals of the San Marino game. Did he do a knee slide and this?
Nah, he was more subdued. I feel like he got Keane's message, and he was more subdued.
You know that I'm actually on with Roy Keane on that he shouldn't have done what he did versus Albania. But if he actually went ahead and did it against San Marino, I would have actually respected and rated it, because just for the troll value that he's actually making Roy Keane look silly. This is what I do. This is my celebration. Just deal with it.
Right.
I'm just having a look, and like, teams haven't put 5 past Albania for like decades. They lost 4-1 to Poland, and they lost 4-1 to France a couple of years ago, but no one's like put a 5-0 on them for a long time. So that was kind of, I thought Albania would be tougher, because all the Albanian players play in top leagues. They're all guys playing around Europe.
Right.
But like San Marino are like, this guy is also a baker kind of thing, or this guy is also a tax accountant kind of.
I thought I saw the guy who painted my house out there. There were some like local looking people on the field. The uniform was terrible. The San Marino uniform, like, they had on a legit track top. That's all right. And then they took it off. Those colors are like, oh, that's a pub team colors right there.
I thought it looked more like a supermarket uniform or something.
Yes. Like a gas station top. Where's the crisp at? Over there. This is Tesco's has a better uniform than San Marino does. Yeah, it was pretty. They were pretty set up to like get pounded and beat up. What are they saying about the 10-0 win in England?
Just that it was, just too easy.
Too easy.
But I mean, to be fair to Southgate, like, he gave guys minutes who wouldn't normally get a bunch of minutes, like Smith Rowe. Gallagher got some minutes. Tammy hasn't played for a little bit, sort of for a prolonged period. So, like, he tried to get Ramsdale, made his debut. And
so did Gallagher got in there.
Yeah, so he mixed it up, but he did what he could to try and reduce the damage. But but I mean, I think it's been a little while since the team put 10 past San Marino. They take some heavy beatings, but I think it's the first time someone's really dismantled them quite the way we did. So it's interesting. Plus, like, there was some ridiculous stuff in that game though. Like, I thought the penalty was harsh.
The handball.
The guy's like calling for an offside, and then Foden just overhead kicks it into his hand.
Right.
Barely.
The ref should have let that slide, but he did. But then VAR called him to look at it, and when he looked at it, he called. I was like, damn, you cold-blooded VAR. Come on, let that go, man. No mercy. VAR is savage. Like, let that go. What did you guys think of Portugal sliding into the playoff rounds? So I watched the highlights of that game, but I didn't see the goal that Ronaldo supposedly scored in the highlights. I just saw like a photo on Twitter of the ball crossing the line and the guy clearing it. And so does anybody know what happened or how that played out?
No, I didn't see that. I literally saw the scoreline that they obviously lost to Serbia, but that was it.
Well, what happened? I think what they're saying is like Portugal could have went through on a tie, and they did get a goal, but it was disallowed. I don't think they have VAR there to check it out. And I think Ronaldo scored the goal and did the ooh. So then afterwards, the Serbian people scored like in the 89th minute or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe in extra time they got the
So
goal.
they did not have goal line technology?
I guess not. It's like,
yeah, just looking like, yeah.
Serbia there was
top
no
of the
goal
group
line
on,
technology. Yeah.
Serbia finished top of the group on 20 and Portugal on 17. But if it was a draw, they both would have finished on 18, and Portugal would have topped it on goal difference.
But they got a goal taken away from them. So yeah. Neil, you just saw that they don't have it?
They didn't have it for this game. Now, this is what kind of bothers me, because I feel if you don't have goal line technology or VAR, it shouldn't be there for the entire field, like for the whole tournament, like no UEFA qualifier.
Everyone or nobody.
Yes. So the fact that, because I know the England games had VAR and they had goal line technology. So yeah, this is dodgy, like that some teams, because then it's not fair, right? It's not a level playing field then.
But it's not fair if you're in a group that has it to not use it, because some other group can't afford it. Some other members of other groups can't afford it. I think they just, having some groups that have it will push the groups that don't have it to have it later on.
But why is it down to like individual groups aren't organizing this tournament, right? Like this whole thing is being organized by UEFA. So it should be UEFA's funding or finances that go towards any of this.
How is UEFA going to make money if they spend it on shit that they're supposed to spend it on?
Oh yeah, probably now the playoffs are way more lucrative from a broadcast point of view now that Ronaldo's going to be playing in them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shit like that you never really can trust UEFA on.
There's some other interesting results around as well.
Go ahead.
Like Scotland beating Denmark 2-0 was pretty big. I have to point out that Shea Adams scored a great goal as well within that.
Everybody's looking out for their own players. It's so funny.
Oh yeah, and Wales drawing with Belgium tonight, 1-1.
That puts them in the playoffs or in the playoffs, yeah. Right.
Which is pretty big achievement for them.
You're right. When was the last time Wales went to the World Cup?
I don't think they ever have. They've made the Euros a couple of times now, but I don't think they've ever made a World Cup. So that'd be pretty historic if they could get through.
Did they do that with or without Bale getting to this playoffs?
He's played some games. He was on the bench. I don't think he was on the bench. He was sat on the bench tonight, but I don't think he was even in the squad though because he was injured.
And Italy, the European champions, are in the playoffs. They did not qualify.
Yeah, they drew 0-0 with Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and I think Jorginho is coming in for some heat because he missed the penalty in the Switzerland draw, 1-1 draw, earlier this week. And if he had put it in, that would have been the 3 points they needed, and they would have gone through and not Switzerland.
And this the guy you want to be FIFA Player of the Year?
I actually want Conte to be Player of the Year, but
well, he might win it now. I think Jorginho's trying to hand it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like you should get that much blame for a missed penalty, but if it actually comes out that Italy misses consecutive World Cups because of this, then definitely he's gonna have to face some heat.
Has that ever happened before, where the European champions and you don't make the World Cup?
I wouldn't be surprised if Greece never made the World Cup.
Oh,
when did Italy not make the World Cup one year? Was it after they won the World Cup?
No, just the last one. They didn't make the last World Cup. So if they don't make it this one, it's going to be
the last one was Russia, wasn't it? They made that one.
I don't know.
No, I
I can't remember seeing them.
They beat Spain, didn't they, or something, or they got knocked out? I can't. It might have been the last one.
Spain played Portugal in that, and then I think Egypt. Not Egypt.
One problem is the
Morocco
European dominance in football right now means that the Euros and the World Cups look exactly identical. So it's kind of tough to keep track of whether it happened in the World Cup or the Euros.
Oh yeah, they didn't make 2018.
Yeah,
right.
That's all. Yeah,
I'm kind of rooting for. So are they up against North Macedonia? Because I'm looking at or is there going to be a draw for this?
I think there's going to be a draw because I know there are a bunch of teams that are seeded, and Italy, Portugal, Wales, Scotland, I think fall in that, and then there's another bunch that are
Sweden
not seeded. Yeah.
Oh yeah, seeded nations. So the seeded nations are Portugal, Scotland. That's good for Scotland to be seeded. Italy, Russia, Sweden, Wales. The unseeded, Turkey, Poland with Lewandowski is not seeded. They're as seeded as North Macedonia is, who isn't seeded. Ukraine, Austria is unseeded. Czech.
See, I would mock Poland for that, but Martin's not here, so it doesn't even feel worthwhile.
I'd still do it. It's always worthwhile. It's good practice for the things I'm going to say to him in person.
I mean, Poland, not to be forgotten, finished last in their group in the Euros. So it's not a case that.
Why would you think I would forget that? I would not forget that. Absolutely not. So it's like 2-5, and for the people watching and listening, I'm going to bounce for 20 minutes, and Lee and Neil are going to take over, and I'm going to pop back on. But what are you guys going to talk about?
I think we want to go over some of the, look at some of the comments. We've been meaning to do that for a couple of episodes now, but
all right, cool.
Yeah. And if we get through those, we can start looking at like the weekend's Premier League fixtures or something.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Have fun.
Cool. All right, Lee. So let's go over.
Do you want to get it? If you got them up on your computer, I'm on my phone, so.
Yeah. I got them on. So I'm gonna just flash them on here. I don't think we're fancy enough to have them actually flashing on screen, so these guys will just have to take our word for it. That these are actually from the last episode. So I think some interesting stuff came up based off what we spoke about. What a general comment, I think a lot of guys have been mentioning about the fact that we want to do 2 podcasts a week. I think that'd be kind of cool if we can actually pull that off, because especially getting into December, the schedule is going to be a little crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, my sleep schedule is also going to be getting pretty crazy, given that I have to record this on Californian time. But I'm still down for it.
I think we can, but the episodes won't probably be that long though. So you'll get more sleep overall. Yeah. Okay, so I think the first comment that I wanted to bring up was Alexander here. He's a pretty, shout out Alexander. He's been a very good supporter of the podcast. He always comments, multiple comments under every video. He says, props to the squad. He's talking about the West Ham Liverpool game where Trent Alexander-Arnold was standing there watching the game for the third West Ham goal. Was comical. That the fist goal was a foul on Alisson for sure. You can't be using your hands to throw goalkeeper's hands off the ball. So I guess just on the back of that, maybe a good topic here would be, we've seen now 2 England games. That right back spot, and Trent's had a great season so far going forward, maybe not that much defensively. What do you make of the England right back debate right now?
I think Livramento should be first choice right back.
Yeah,
I think he's better than all the other guys now. It's crazy. Like,
he probably won't be far off the mark. I mean,
no, maybe give it another 2 or 3 years. He was in the under-21 squad this time. which is the first season he's been doing that. He was previously in the under-19s.
Right.
So I think he's going to get there, but he was injured, so he had to pull out of the under-21 squad for this window. So that was a shame. But no, it's a tough one because we produce so many good right backs right now.
Yeah.
Like I think I heard a rumor that Wan-Bissaka might be looking to like change
Congo. Yeah.
Because he's never going to get a game. I don't think.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like he's around the same age, so it's not that he can wait for these guys to be over the hill.
But I think like Kyle Walker, I would think probably one more tournament left. How old is he? Can we look that up? I think he's like in his 30s now.
He's in his 30s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's 31, so he's gonna be 32. Yeah, he's gonna be 32 by next year.
He might scrape another Euros after the. Because I think Southgate likes him because he can play in the back three as well.
Yeah,
like he has done this week. So obviously he's there. Trippier, I think. It's again a player that Southgate likes because of his experience, and apparently he's a good communicator on the field. But I think just Reece James and Trent, they just offer more dynamism from that position. So I mean it's crazy what we have to choose from there. Obviously Trent brings set pieces and whatnot. I think Reece James is probably the best all-round player we have in that position in terms of he's so strong physically, but also his deliveries are still amazing as well. So I think it's good that England can utilise, if they do play 3-5-2, can utilise the power of the Chelsea wing backs with Chilwell on one side and Reece James on the other. But like I say, it's a shame we haven't got quite the same quality all over the field in all positions. But
I think at some point, a manager is going to look at that and try and shoehorn both Trent and Reece in the same 11. And I have a feeling it's going to go down how, even from like, it has all the makings of that old Gerrard versus Lampard debate. And you can add Scholes into that too, because I even see that online. It's getting really heated between Chelsea and Liverpool fans about, Reece versus Trent. And I think both fan bases have been waiting for a fight for a long time now. And we finally have that on that same position. And, last time an England manager tried to shoehorn these guys, it didn't work out that well, right? Like, I think
we ended up with guys playing like left wing, like
Scholes playing left wing,
it's just Gerrard on the left for a little bit. It's not good.
I hope they don't make that same mistake. For England's good, I hope they don't make that same mistake again. So, but again, having said that, Reece has had experience playing as a DM for Wigan. Trent, I think, when he came through the academy, was a midfielder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy because the England's got so much depth in midfield too. So,
I think centre midfield's probably one of the weakest positions on the team, though.
You think so?
To a degree, yeah. Like, I think the emergence of Phillips has helped that area of the field. But like Henderson isn't going to last forever. Bellingham is obviously offering something in there, but I don't think we have like the same depth there as we do in certain other positions, maybe.
Maybe depth-wise, but like Rice, Bellingham, I feel have the making of a really strong, pivot.
I think Rice is probably the first like truly potentially world-class holding midfielder that we've had in a long time, like a sort of proper destroyer who can dominate physically in there, because Henderson is sort of in that mold but not quite. He's a bit more box to box.
Henderson, I remember like before Klopp came in there, he used to play as a holding DM, but he was never really that good. It was only under Klopp that he really pushed himself up a couple of levels, and that was as a number 8, not more of a box to box destroyer kind of.
Rice has got there a lot quicker in terms of age. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that develops. But it's I think holding mid or central defence are probably the two positions where we have the biggest. Probably central defence actually might even be like players just don't seem to play like. I mean, there were times in the Albania game, even though we won 5-0, like we looked like we were trying to give them a goal. The way we were moving the ball at the back at times, like So John Stones is like looks way more comfortable for City than he does for. But then Maguire looks better for England than he does for United. So it's a mixed bag.
I mean, just to touch back on that Maguire thing. It wasn't even the fact that he did it against Albania. I don't think he's silencing anybody, even if he scores for United. The problem is not that he can't head a ball into the net. We know he can do that. The problem is he can't defend. So how's he going to shut people off there? That's something he should be worried about. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Alexander, for that. Let's go down to something else. Okay. All right. So we have some updates on this next topic. Again, it's Alexander. He says, unless Villa gets Lampard or Terry, I don't see why they would sack their coach already. He was a perfect fit for them. I think anytime a coach loses 5 games in a row or something like that, you're always, in trouble. But having said that, Villa have their coach now. We know who's the new coach. So what do you make of the Steven Gerrard appointment?
It's an interesting one. I think once Smith was fired, it was likely that Gerrard was going to go because Christian Perslow, who used to be one of the Liverpool directors, he is at Villa now. And he was apparently quite close with Gerrard. So that was one of the big factors in that move happening. I know some really, really angry Rangers fans. Like it's similar to how Celtic fans felt when Rodgers walked out halfway through a season for Leicester. They feel kind of the same way that Gerrard's sort of just, up sticks midway through a season for a club like Villa, which, shows the power of the Premier League. I think Villa fans need to, it's kind of a weird thing for them just to know that he's just using it to get to Liverpool, essentially. They're just being used. But I guess if it brings them a couple of years of success, then nobody's going to be complaining. Because I think really for most clubs outside the top teams, your manager's there either to rescue you or as a stepping stone kind of thing. It's something I've long associated with Hassan Hüttl. He'll go to a bigger club kind of thing. It was when Pochettino was with us as well. I was like, he's not going to be here forever. No manager is there. And I would rather lose a manager because they did well than lose a manager because we had to fire them because they were bad. So I don't think that's too bad a thing. But I'm interested to see sort of just how successful he is. I think he's got the potential to be. He's got a really good coaching staff. He seems quite switched on himself as well. So they got a good squad there as well. That is the thing I think that, with Smith's undoing, he spent a lot of money over the last couple of seasons there, which, it just brings expectations up and he didn't quite meet those. So, he done some great things. He got the team promoted. He consolidated them as a Premier League club, which he needs to be applauded for. But then, with money comes ambition. So.
Yeah. Oh, interestingly, it's not like Dean Smith can relax on a beach. He's back. He's fighting an even tougher in the relegation battle than he was a week ago. So,
the crazy thing is, crazy. His final game for Villa was against Southampton, and his first game for Norwich will be against Southampton.
Oh, well, see, he has practice now.
Yeah, practice in losing to us. Hopefully, he can just bring that to the table again. But yeah, it's like how Norwich sort of looked at a guy that lost 5 games in a row and went, that's our man. That's what we need. Yeah. He fits.
Wasn't Villa 2 seasons back in a really bad spot relegation wise, and they somehow managed to scrape through? Because I remember Sheffield had a game where, or Sheffield or
there's a dodgy. So Sheffield United, there was a dodgy goal.
There's a dodgy goal, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he scraped through relegation once. So maybe that's something that went for him.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like I said, they got some England internationals in that team. They spent a lot of money on Leon Bailey, Buendia as well. Ings, Watkins. They should be doing better than they are really. They were one of my outside sort of tips to break into that top 6 or 7 maybe if they had a good season. But I mean, even
I can't believe you wish that good for Danny Ings.
No, I rate the guy. So he's a proven goal scorer in this league. So he'd improve most teams. So yeah, but I think even if they were like around 10th, it probably would have been fine. For Dean Smith, he probably could have survived on that. But yeah, just the fact that they were dropping further and further, it's a pretty bad sign. But
it seems like they kind of, I would think if the Newcastle change of ownership hadn't happened, they wouldn't have sacked Dean Smith. I think there's a feeling now among those teams in 15, 16, 17 that Newcastle is coming. So we better do something to pull away and not wait too long to react.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Howe at Newcastle is going to be another interesting one. Like, how much is he going to get to spend in January? Who's he going to spend it on? There's all sorts of crazy rumors, like, Aaron Ramsey, Tony Cruz, people like that. Like, it's, just some silly names being talked about. So, yeah, it's, the whole relegation battle is going to be interesting. Like, there's even other clubs now, like Brentford, getting sucked down into that zone because they've had some pretty poor results as well. Was it just an initial kind of excitement about being in the Premier League? They were just going into every game with confidence, and then the losses now have started to sort of take that out of them, and then they're looking a bit shaky. So it's they could be like an accelerated version of Sheffield United, where what happened to Sheffield United over like two seasons happens to them in the space of one. I'd like to see them stay up, though. I've got a soft spot for Brentford. So.
Yeah, I think the Gerrard one is, just going back to what you're saying about Rangers fans being a bit mad at it. I think it just shows the reality of where the Scottish League is. So I have no problem with an ambitious manager, just being ruthless and going for it. I think it gets a little weird though when he does those interviews that he did just over a couple of weeks back, saying that, oh, do I look unsettled? Like, he kind of really rebuked a journalist for even daring to ask this question of him, and he was pretty rude towards her and practically letting her know that she's asking a very stupid question.
Have you seen the amended version of that where he has the giant Pinocchio nose?
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So somebody got there. Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where like Rangers fan could be like, oh, so you were actually, all the words about, having a cultural fit with Rangers, appreciating the history of the club. It didn't really mean much to you when it came down to it.
Yeah, it's a hard one because you can't really be honest and say like, I will leave here the first opportunity I get a Premier League job. Yeah. But equally, such a strong rebuttal of the question kind of makes you question anything he ever says in the future in terms of his integrity. Like, he could just be lying in every interview now.
Yeah, I mean, because the question is going to come. Like, you think if he does well in a year or two, when I think Klopp's contract is up in 2024, and he has kind of hinted that he wants to like take a sabbatical after that. So in a season or two, if he still had the Villa job, people are going to be asking those same sort of questions to Gerrard and Villa too. So yeah,
no, absolutely, and it's kind of a risk as well. I can see why he's taking it, but like, there's no guarantees he'll be a success at Villa. I think he'll do well there. But what level of success is good enough for Liverpool to hire him? Like, do they love him that much that even if he stinks there, they'll still give him the job? Or is he taking a risk where, like, if he, I don't know, say relegates Villa, does that like stop him from ever getting the Liverpool, stop him from getting it next? He might have to wait until the next after the next one, kind of thing.
I think if he does bad, then there's no way he's getting. If he gets sacked from Villa, for example.
Yeah.
I think with us and Lampard, there was a little bit of a momentum and high behind Lampard's managerial career as that season at Derby ended with the playoff final. And of course, like, we were in a situation where I think Chelsea in any other season doesn't make that appointment, but with the transfer ban, we actually had like the top tier of coaches were not going to come to us. The second tier of coaches were rejecting us. Sarri literally left us, right? So then you're down to the third or fourth tier And if you have to, I think the club at that point made a call that, we'd rather go the Lampard, Jody Morris route, and because we know now we have to use a lot of our academy and loan players who these guys know well. So
yeah, obviously Morris coached them all, didn't he, as well in the academy? Yeah.
So
it made sense. It made sense at the time. Like, I think everyone could see that it probably wasn't going to end up being like a long-term thing. But at least you guys were ruthless, and you didn't do a Man United and just let a club legend fail in the job for.
I think in hindsight, I was pretty mad at the point, but like the moment things started going a little bad, because from a Chelsea Chelsea fans' point of view, for me, Lampard's first season was a success because we didn't expect to stay in top 4. We did, and it's not just we just on the last day somehow scraped top 4. We stayed in top 4 right from October to the end of the season. Second season till the beginning of December, I think we were top of the table. Then we just fell off a cliff. So it was 4 to 6 weeks of pain. And he got fired in mid-January, and there was like 2 weeks of international break. So it was 4 to 5 weeks of pain. But that bandage got ripped off real quick. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I don't think, like, overall, if you look at his spell, like, I don't think he did badly, but equally, I don't think he would have ever been able to achieve what Tuchel achieved.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's the difference. Like, the fact that you're ruthless enough to go, there's a top manager available, we're going to go and get him.
Yeah.
That's why you win things at the moment, and that's why Man United don't.
Yeah, so I guess coming back to if Gerrard ever has to make a move to Liverpool, I think a lot of stars need to align that way too. That I think if Klopp leaves Liverpool in great health and they're still a team that's at the top, either challenging or winning Premier Leagues, Gerrard would have to pretty much take Villa to a top 6, top 4 level for him to get that be that next appointment. So unless that happens, or like if Liverpool's level drops, and then it kind of makes more sense for them.
I think he might still be able to get that job, even if he just turns Villa into like a solid like top 8 team. I think is probably the cutoff.
Yeah, probably. You just still get kind of close.
Yeah, maybe some like good cup runs or something. But yeah, if they're in the bottom half of the table, then there's big questions raised if he does get that job.
Yeah, true that. Okay, so we got through that. Newcastle. I think somebody made a point that Newcastle had 0 shots on goal with Dunk in goal. This team is hopeless. At least try to shoot. What do you think Eddie Howe is going to do with Newcastle?
It's a strange one because, like, I always thought his Bournemouth teams were like a bit suspect defensively.
Yeah,
they were good going forward, but they leaked goals. And this Newcastle team, let's face it, defensively they're not. They're not the best group. So even if he gets like Callum Wilson scoring, that's not too dissimilar to what they were doing before that. They probably play more attractive football now, but it's a strange one that he, there's not too much to go off recently. Like obviously he left Bournemouth and he's just sat and not taking a job for a while. So it's going to be interesting to see if he has changed his style or if he's been away and like, observed other coaches and improved any parts of his game, or whether they're just a carbon copy of how Bournemouth used to play, which was, they would play like a sort of 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1. He quite often played with inverted wingers as well, and then the fullbacks go on forward. So, pretty standard stuff. It'd be interesting to see if that's exactly what he does with Newcastle, or if he's got something new up his sleeve. Because under Bruce, they played a 3-5-2 quite often, I think. It'd be interesting to see. Like, I haven't looked at their run of games. I don't know who they have in his first. I think they have Arsenal.
I think it's fair to say that whoever they have is better than them. So I'm really looking forward to the Joshua King to Newcastle. I think that's the first transfer Eddie Howe's going to make. when he gets there. Like there's probably going to be a list of ex-Bournemouth players that are coming in through to Newcastle. Okay, they have Brentford, Arsenal, Norwich, Burnley. Well, actually, if they can beat Brentford, Norwich, Burnley, that's 9 points. And then,
it's an interesting run because, like, if he lost to Brentford or Norwich, or both, like that's some real pressure they're under at that point.
Yeah.
But if they win those 2 games, then they'll probably start to pull themselves up the table a little bit.
Yeah, Watford and Villa. That's just so crazy. Like you look at all these teams in the bottom 5, 4 of them already have new managers this season. Villa, Watford, Newcastle, and Norwich. It's Burnley, and I think Burnley is just too scared to fire Sean Dash, so he'll be fine.
all the directors there are just terrified of him. No one can say it.
So they're gonna headbutt one of them, yeah. So, and definitely nobody's firing Bielsa. Like that guy's another, a freak. Like he might like fire the club.
That gap's interesting because, like, obviously, like Villa and Watford have like got up into the double digits in terms of points, but then like from Watford in 17th to Newcastle in 19th is like 5 points, so that's already a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of opened up there. So those bottom 2, they need some wins and soon.
Yeah.
I think are Newcastle the only team left without a win now?
Yes, they are. If you're looking at the table, one thing you'd notice is that Norwich at 5 goals and Tottenham at 9 goals are the only teams to have not hit double figures for goals this season.
Southampton must have only just hit that number.
Yes, 10. Yeah. You got your third. You've proven the supercomputer wrong thrice over now.
Yeah. That's it. We're overachieving.
Quite a lot. Yeah. All right. So I guess that was that from the comments. I think let's look forward to what's going to happen this week.
Yeah, let's get into the games.
We have the first game this week. Oh, Leicester at home. Chelsea face Leicester at home, 4:30 on the Saturday. West Coast time. So early kickoff.
First game of the weekend.
I think there's going to be a little bit of pressure on Chelsea now because with the Burnley draw, I think the draw is fine because we actually had a good performance. But if that draw is now followed by drop points at Leicester, then it becomes a little bit of a problem.
What's the status with
Lukaku?
Your forwards, Lukaku and Werner? Are they?
I think Lukaku is back in training for a couple of days now. I don't quite think Werner is back because I didn't see him in the videos earlier today. So, but Lukaku should be back. Lukaku should be back. I think Pulisic should be back now. Like I saw him today, and he was fine playing. He came on as a sub 2 games now. He didn't get a rough tackle. So yeah, I'm always worried. Like every time he steps on the pitch, like something can go wrong, which is just a horrible situation to be in as a fan. But I think we're gonna have to accept that for Pulisic. So I think from an injuries point of view, I think this is what we are waiting for, like to somehow get past that run of games, get to international break, give these guys another 2 weeks, and now I think most folks are fit.
Yeah, because you'll need that full squad. Like we said, the Christmas fixture period is pretty hectic, pretty crazy. So you'll need as many guys back as possible for that.
Yeah. So again, I mean, Leicester's not been doing great this season. They've had some. They've been suspect defensively. I think they're in the bottom five of goals conceded. So, hopefully we can like get to that level where we are constantly peppering their goal and get some.
I think
momentum.
both of the games we lost 9-0. Vestergaard played in both of them, and he's now at Leicester. So hopefully, like he was the problem.
Yeah,
We've moved that problem onto Leicester.
Yeah. All right, so that's Leicester, Chelsea, Villa, Brighton. That's the second game of the weekend. Just Steven Gerrard. He's gonna face a good match in his first game.
Tough opener. Yeah.
That should be a fun game. There's going to be a lot of Liverpool fans looking at that game.
Who knows? They might. The Liverpool fans might look at that game, and after the full-time result, they might go like, "Nah, Gerrard, we want Potter after Klopp."
Yeah, Potter. Like whenever Potter makes that move, it's going to be one of the most fascinating. I think young managers in the Premier League to follow. It's been a while. I think Pochettino was the last person who kind of looked that good even before he made that jump.
Yeah. So, I think he's definitely destined. The way he's sort of operating at the moment, he's definitely destined for a big job at some point.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before on here. Like I'd love to see him as the next England manager.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got that sort of player development kind of streak where he can bring players on individually, but also he's quite tactically sound as well. So I think he'd be a really good fit for that. But who knows who they've got lined up for that? Who knows how long Southgate wants to stay as well. So he'll definitely do the World Cup. Whether he does the next Euros, we'll see.
Also, if big club came in for Potter, I think ambitious managers, they always give preference to the club job. But I'm really.
Man United could do worse if they sack Ollie.
But yeah, we'll come to Man United in a bit. Hopefully, Ian's going to be back by then.
Yeah.
This 2 weeks must have been the happiest 2 weeks of United of him following United this season.
And that was a successful period of the season.
Yeah. Ronaldo only had to save Portugal, and he couldn't even do that. I'm actually very curious to see Gerrard because you really don't get to see a lot of the Scottish League. I think I've seen him once or twice in the Europa League, but looking forward to seeing what he does.
Yeah, like obviously in Scotland they play quite attacking, but they can.
I mean, there's like you played 2 decent games in the entire season, right?
Yeah.
The third place team is like way off from a budgetary point of view.
But they were quite competitive in the Europa League last season. Rangers, they did quite well. So yeah, he's got some experience of obviously facing stronger opposition there. But it's definitely a tough one to start with.
Okay. All right. So next up is Burnley Crystal Palace. Another, looks like a bottom half of the table clash, but actually Crystal Palace has been very good this season. I think they've been a little unlucky in terms of points. They could have had a few more points than where they are at right now. I think they've been top half table, like just by one performances.
We all know you're going to be rooting for your boy Gallagher, so.
Gallagher, yeah. I mean, Palace and Southampton are my 2 second teams this season. They both have one guy and one buy and one loan from us. But yeah.
I was rooting for Gallagher to score when he played against San Marino as well. He hit the post.
He almost did, yeah. He hit the post.
And I think he got the assist for the Bellingham goal that got cancelled as well.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. No. What, or was that Tammy? Or no, Tammy was chopped off because of Tammy.
Yeah.
But then went to Gallagher.
Yeah, Tammy backheeled a guy in the nuts or something.
Yeah. He got really, I think he was the guy who took the game the most seriously. Like, he got really pissed off. He ended up getting a yellow card for dissent.
I like to think like Tammy was like probably like swearing at the San Marino players in Italian or something, now that he's been living in Rome for a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, Crystal Palace definitely really liking what Vieira has done with that team. He could be he could be another guy that we're talking about legends coming back to their teams. I'm pretty sure there's some people at the Emirates who are looking closely at what Vieira is doing at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I think Arteta's probably pretty safe right now. But who knows? Like, it's Arsenal. He could be, in 2 months' time, he could be in trouble again. So
yeah,
things seems to fluctuate there quite wildly in quite short space of time, and it doesn't take many bad results for the fan base there to start getting noisy. So I think I could definitely see, out of all their former players, Vieira is probably the one who is most likely to, I think, manage them. Because Henry's had a kind of sort of shitty managerial career.
I think Henry's realized that he's not cut out for this, right?
Yeah, like he was terrible at Monaco. He was pretty average at Montreal. Yeah. He was on the staff at Belgium, which is probably a better role for him, where he's just part of the team rather than that. And Bergkamp's been the same. He's been on like the staff at Ajax. Before, so he's someone who I think Arsenal fans would love to see him back. Like, if he's like maybe like a Bergkamp assistant, Vieira manager duo. Might be good.
Does he still fly, or is he still not flying? What?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think he'll be fine then, because Arsenal's not making it to Europe anyway. So
couldn't resist. Couldn't resist.
It's a different Arsenal that he'll be coming back to. He won't have the kind of problems that he had logistically. All right, moving on to Eddie Howe's first game, Newcastle Brentford. I think this will be a game with pressure, because even though it's his first game, he will be expected to win this, because these are the kind of points you can actually take if you want to get past. You already have a gap growing. So
like you said, they got them, Arsenal, then Norwich. So like you said, the Brentford Norwich game is the one they need to be getting points from. If they lose those games, they're in deep shit. So that one will be interesting. I think Brentford will be like sort of pumped to try and turn things around. Maybe take advantage of the fact that he might have not fully got his messages across so far with the Newcastle players. So, and the fact that he hasn't been able to go out and buy anyone yet. But with it being Eddie Howe, I'm pretty sure I might stick some money on Callum Wilson, like double or hat trick or something.
That, I believe, like, this is going to be a really weird place to be at, right? Like, a fair few of this squad is out in a month's time, but you still have to depend on them and get something out of them for the next month or two.
Yeah, I think that could work a couple of ways though. Like, maybe the players will be like, oh shit, I need to play well so that I can get a good move and not to the Championship.
Oh yeah, you're on American Idol right now.
You don't want to be Championship idol. You want to be staying in the Premier League. You want to be in that shop window. So some of them might feel like they got a month to try and.
You want to hold on to that new contract, that shake money. All right, Norwich, Southampton. 3 points.
I'd like to think so, given that we were in good form. But I kind of feel like the international break came at a bad time for us, because we were the 4 games before the break, we'd won 3, drew 1. And when you've got momentum, you kind of want it to carry on. You don't really want that break where players go off and could get injured. I don't think any of them have. Although Livramento and Ward-Prowse both pulled out of the under-21s and seniors, respectively, with injury. So I'm hoping those guys are back. But like these games worry me where we should win.
Oh yeah.
These are the sort of games where we won't, and I don't know what effect Dean Smith coming in will have. Whether it's a good thing to play him early on, but obviously he'll know exactly what we're doing, having played us the week before. So we'll see how much he learned from that game, the game that got him fired. He's probably watched it back about 20 times now or something. But I mean, I still think Norwich have, like, obviously they got a good win against Brentford. Previously, I don't think they played that great, but they took their chances well. So, you know, Pookie's always a dangerous finisher. Krul's a solid goalkeeper. So, yeah, on their day they can put a result out against a team like us. So, yeah, we need to be on it. I think I pointed out earlier, Shea Adams scored for Scotland midweek. Adam Armstrong scored before the break for us. So we got confident players. Brozier, I'm not sure what his fitness is like, because I was looking forward to watching him against England, and he didn't play. So I don't know if he's injured again, because I know he had a knock just before the break. He came back, played again off the bench, and then got injured again, I think. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we should win. But like I say, these are the situations that worry me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what I think we, like, in that first day itself, we're going to see Gerrard, Eddie Howe, Dean Smith in action. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see if he actually starts using Billy Gilmore again, because that kid's wasting his time there. Yeah,
such a huge talent, like. And it's a hard position to play when you're not very physically imposing. Like, he works hard and he gets stuck in, but he's obviously not sort of huge physically. And I think we've seen certain players not quite make the cut in the Premier League because of that. Like Winks, I love Winks at Spurs. I think he's great on the ball, but he's obviously never quite established like a regular place. I hope he doesn't go that route, because I think he's got so much potential, and he's just a player, like,
I mean, every time I see him for Scotland, he's like one of the best players on the pitch. And
he was man of the match against England in the Euros.
Yeah, I think he's got like a whole bunch of man of the matches for Scotland. It's just that I think when you get to a relegation fight, priorities kind of change. You don't want somebody dictating tempo. It gets a little more primitive than that.
It would have been quite cool if he'd have, like, gone on loan to, like, a Spanish club or something. Because I think like, he plays like a Spanish holding mid, doesn't he? Where it's just like dictating the game, getting on the ball. Like, he should have sent him out to, like, Rayo Vallecano or somewhere.
I mean, he had so many loan offers. I think the club kind of made him. Southampton, I think. Crystal Palace or Brighton. Couldn't have been Crystal Palace, but I think Brighton wanted them to. So I think the club made a miscalculation, because they placed so much faith in Daniel Farke, like being very close to Tuchel, and from personally, but also for a lot of footballing concept, using that double pivot. Turns out the moment a few points didn't come, they just completely abandoned that project and just started using horses in midfield. So, but anyway, that should be 3 points for Southampton, the way Norwich has been playing this season. Yeah,
don't curse it, Neil. Don't curse it. That's what they were playing like under Farke. Who knows what this Dean Smith era is going to be like? He wants revenge for us making him unemployed for 8 days.
He's not slept. He's not slept for like 3 weeks now. Come on. Should be able to get rid of him. All right, the next game is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer facing yet another manager that's better than him, Claudio Ranieri.
Ranieri's got more Premier League titles.
Yeah, and when Ranieri finished second in the Premier League, it was actually a title challenge. It wasn't like you finished second like in the next zip code. So, I mean, Watford's been, they had a hammering from Liverpool the first game. Ranieri was in charge, but I think they've been decent since.
We beat them 1-0 there, and they didn't really do much.
Okay.
At all. So, it depends for whether Ranieri's been able to get much work done with them over the international break, because obviously he's still pretty new to the job, still getting his style like imposed there. The thing is, they've got players who will cause teams problems on their day. Like, I really rate Ismail Assar. I think he should have probably left by now, gone to a bigger team.
Yeah.
I remember when they got relegated, there was talk of like Liverpool looking at him as being like a backup winger for them, and a couple other clubs. So yeah, they've got players that could hurt United if they're in the mood. It'd be funny if like Tom Cleverley pops up with a goal or something.
Is Danny Welbeck still with them?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure where. I think he's. I don't know if he's still at Brighton or what's going on there.
Oh, he's probably at Brighton. You're right. Yes, he is at Brighton. Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be. Yeah, there's a few ex guys there. Ben Foster, obviously, forget.
Ben Foster,
he had a great game in the last game as well.
Yeah.
Because I think he started as number 2 this season, because they had the Austrian goalkeeper as their number 1 at Watford, but then Foster's been back in the last few games.
Okay.
Despite the fact that he's getting on a bit.
I mean, he's a YouTuber now.
He is, yeah.
he's practically not even a footballer anymore.
There's some pretty insightful stuff there that he comes up with. Like, did you see what he said about Salah after they played Liverpool?
Oh yeah. That Salah was asking him what he would have done with
if he got a penalty.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I want to know what sort of research goalkeepers have done on me.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's quite interesting seeing that competitive edge.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, if you've not seen that, to anyone listening, just like if you Google like Ben Foster Salah penalty or something, it'll probably come up, the clip of it. It's quite interesting to hear him talk about that and just say like that's the mentality that separates like those players that are just really driven to be the best they can, and you know, from the lazier ones. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that should be. I mean, with Solskjaer, it seems like every game right now is like he's going on trial. I don't even know. Like it's how many days? It's 4 days. We're talking about Solskjaer. He might not be the manager by the time the game comes through.
Yeah, it's a weird like situation that the board have let it get to, kind of thing. Like, you shouldn't be in a position where every single week might be the game that gets you fired. Like that tells you that the decision should have been taken by now.
Yeah.
If it's where like every game the job rests on will they get something or not, where it's like if you lose, you lose your job kind of thing. It's kind of it's pretty horrendous that the situation's been allowed to get this far. Just shows how, you know, overly patient they've been with him. But it'd be typical, isn't it? Like, you know, they obviously get trounced by Liverpool. He beats Spurs. Everyone thinks it's okay again. Then they lose to City, and it's like, oh, fire Ollie. And then if they beat Watford, it'd be like, let's give him another week. He seems to just bounce from a bad result to an okay result, and then the fixture lists have been kind to him.
I guess now he has. I think they have Chelsea, but apart from that, they have a relatively easy run of fixtures. So if you want to get a new manager in, I think this is the best time. But they haven't made the decision yet. I think they've also like kind of boxed themselves into the corner by saying that such manager, like for example, Antonio Conte apparently was ready to take the job, but they didn't want to give him the job. So they've kind of, you know, sometimes beggars can't be choosers. They're trying to be too choosy. And it's like, well, you might not finish top 4 now with the greatest squad since Ferguson left. So that'd be interesting. It'd be really hilarious if like United score, like Maguire scores, and he does that whole thing again, and then makes an absolute blunder back in defense.
And they lose 4-1 or something.
Yeah. Like the lack of self-awareness on that Maguire thing is more, was more jarring to me.
Yeah.
Like you actually don't know what's the problem. Like, why are people on your case?
Yeah. Well, like you say, his ability to stick his head on the end of a corner against a sort of subpar team is not something anyone was questioning.
Yeah, nobody's questioning that. Yeah. I wonder what Ronaldo's frame of mind is that now that Portugal's in the playoffs.
He's just carried that stench of failure with him to Portugal from United, hasn't
he? Yeah. Damn.
I think he'll like that. Those playoffs are like, they're big pressure games. They're all or nothing. And I kind of feel like he thrives in those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could
there's
be
a lot of quality
perfect
around him in that team as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I still expect to see them at the World Cup, but the draw will be interesting to see which team gets which.
Yeah. Where are United right now on the table? Oh, they're 6th. Huh. Well, I mean, if they lose, yeah, it's going to be tough. Well, if they even drop points to Watford, I think it's going to be tough to justify keeping Solskjaer in the job. But so hopefully they win.
Yes. The next one there, Wolves West Ham.
Wolves West Ham, yeah. West Ham again.
Tough. Like Wolves have been playing well. But I mean, West Ham are just blowing everyone away at the moment. So who knows which way that one's going to go? Like if they win again, like at what point do people have to really sit up and take notice of them?
I think we should already take notice of West Ham. Like they are, I mean, they're second on the table. I think are they second or are they
third?
Because I know, right, this season is the first season where they're not going to look at goal difference. They're looking at head-to-head, trying to do what Italy does. So I don't know what's the head-to-head between West Ham and Man City. I think Man City lost to them, but anyway. Hey, Ian's back.
What I miss?
We were just talking about how Ollie's going to face another Premier League manager better than him in Claudio Ranieri this weekend. So we just got done speaking about that game, but yeah, you wanna say something about previewing that game, Watford? You wanna go back to your Twitter Spaces?
Yeah, listen, I gotta go. Can I?
I tried to time it so well that we were done with all United talk before you got here. I tried to be a nice friend to you.
Apparently, you know nothing about timing because I came back.
To be fair, we had moved on to Wilson West Ham, but West Ham again reminds me of David Moyes and United. So
I mean, can't we talk about? Did you talk about Norwich and?
Yeah, we got through everybody.
Yeah, that's, which is pretty crazy. Like you're a Premier League coach one week, and in the middle of the week you're not, and then by the end of the week you are again, with a worse team. And then I think it was Lee said something really funny in the chat about he lost his last 5 games. So what did you say?
Yeah, I was like, Norwich were just like, this is our guy. He fits our philosophy.
He fits our philosophy, yeah. This Ollie thing is kind of crazy. I figured the break was a good time. Listen, I love Ollie. I think, I'm always defending him.
Ian, I think it's past that point. You don't have to give that disclaimer again anymore. The disclaimer.
But I also realize what the problem is. So as far as Ollie, right? So Alex Ferguson coached in a different era, right? And this weekend on the 5, on the 5 with Stephen Hudson. I forgot the other name brother on it. And they had I can't remember his name. They had
Toby.
Who did they have as a guest from Man City? Vincent Kompany. And he's a coach at Anderlecht. And they asked him what his coaching style is, and they also asked him what it's like to be coached by Pep. And he gave like some of the details of the detailed involvement of what it's like to work under Pep. You know what I mean? Like, and the style and all that stuff. And then Rio and company used to play against each other, so they're just comparing notes because Rio played under Alex Ferguson. And to be honest, Ferguson was, based on what Rio was saying, was not that technical. It's like, I guess back then you didn't have to be. It's like, I got these players. This is what I kind of want you to do, and do this. And then there'd be some adjustments and stuff, but it wasn't that technical. And Ali coming in as a student of Ferguson is out of his depth in today's football, where company express how much more involved, and just all the other coaches I've been watching and following, like videos of like when people break down how different coaches coach. Like Ollie really needs to go to Germany and to get a German football license, to be honest.
Well, Fergie apparently he was always very good at like knowing where he was weak in terms of his knowledge or abilities, and he would hire people that were experts in those areas. So when he was lacking on technical stuff, he would make sure he had a really good technical assistant like Carlos Queiroz or René Mullenstein or people like that, who would come in and do those jobs. So yeah, Ollie's coaches are all quite young. I think he's got Phelan, apart from Phelan.
And they're all coaches that learned under Ferguson, where they're not as technical either. So they're as technical as Ollie, so they're not going to give the detail that. And it's like, how is, like, who's so it's Carrick and who else?
There's Kieran McKenna, is it? I think.
Yeah, McKenna. Like, how is McKenna going to say, "Hey, Ronaldo, could you press?" Like, who are you telling to tell who? You know what I mean? Like, Ollie's in the office and he's expecting McKenna and Carrick to, like, Carrick is not exerting his authority if he has any.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so either Ollie needs to be down there, or he needs somebody down there that can insert some type of authority to get what. A lot of people are blaming the players, but I blame the coaching staff, because if you know you're not coached right, it's hard to give 100%. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we could probably beat Watford, but Ollie shouldn't be there for Watford. We was talking today about Zidane. I'll take Zidane for the end of the season, because number one, he doesn't want to coach a full season. He's interested in the French job, but this will get him some reps and get us in a good position. So I think time and opportunity is perfect. Like, he ain't trying to be Man U coach forever, and we just need a competent coach to get us to the end of the season so we can hire the real coach, like Ten Hag or somebody. You know what I mean?
But I don't think he would want to, like, he's got a stature that is not a Gus hitting or like, he's not an interim coach. Like, he wouldn't want to come, Zidane, like, he wouldn't want to take the job as an interim coach, right?
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm guessing he's probably just sitting around until the World Cup to see if Deschamps loses the France job afterwards.
That's too risky too for him. Just for him, like, to take. I think you need to get back some coaching reps and just the whole thing of coaching, to take that long off, to take an international job where you don't get that much time with the players, and there's so much space in between. Like, even just for Zidane, this will be a good job if he wants to move on to coach France. If we use each other until the end of the season.
The thing is, though, like until the end of the season, maybe, yeah, but I don't think he would do that short term. And if he is waiting for the France job and that becomes available after the World Cup, that'll be mid-season next year because of the timing of the World Cup. So he may not want to walk out on a job halfway through, or be in a job when the France job potentially becomes available mid-season.
We just need him for the end of this season, which is May. I'm not talking about next year. The end of the season, Ten Hag is available. His 1-year contract. Well, you could actually get someone. Like, forget next year. Let's get a decent coach to end this season.
But what's in it for him? Like, he can, like, there's nothing good that can happen for Zidane in these 6 months.
I wouldn't say that. We have a good team.
No, but he can't win anything, right? Like, he's
That's
going
not
to be in
true.
the top 4, but you're not going to win the league. He might be able to win the Champions League because he's got that experience.
Yeah. You could,
Or the
we could,
Europa League if they finish third in their group,
yeah. I mean,
But
we're
like
at
they
the
did
top
last
of our
season.
group. We're at the top of our group with a mediocre coach. That's the positive you're not looking at. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, we're at the top of our group with a limited coach. So imagine with we're 6 with a limited coach. Like, we spot you guys a lead. You Chelsea better do better when they come back.
Well, all I'll say is I'm rooting for old Claudio.
Ranieri? Yeah, of course. You got to. I'd root
Well,
for
or
him.
maybe not. Maybe keeping Ole in the job isn't really that bad idea.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, because we play you guys next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is Ollie gonna prove by beating Watford? Like, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
We got up to the late game, didn't we, on Saturday, which is going to be Liverpool Arsenal.
Liverpool Arsenal, yeah.
Interesting.
If the craziest
how
thing
it-
is, if Arsenal win, they go above Liverpool, and that's just
Sure.
crazy, based on how the season's been going.
I think this is the real big test of just how much Arsenal have improved.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see whether it's legit or not in this game.
I don't think if they lose, it's.
If they lose badly, though.
I don't think they'll lose badly. I don't think even if they lose badly, it's just they got some. We all know Arsenal is a growing team; they have shit to learn. So this is just a measuring stick of where they actually are to what they look like where they are, and then they'll know how to grow from there. But Arsenal is definitely like growing, win or lose. But it's definitely an intriguing ass match. I'm watching that for 100%.
I think Ramsdale could be busy.
It's funny.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's been busy in games recently. Like, I know they've kept some clean sheets, but he's been like their best player in some of those games.
He's been making Ben White look good.
Yeah, so that means there's
that's
there's
not a
holes
good
in that,
look.
there's holes in that defense, and teams just aren't finishing them off because he's making the saves. So Salah and Mane might not be that forgiving.
Yeah.
Is Mane, because he had a knock on international duty, and then I read this thing somewhere which had a whole bunch of Liverpool players who were injured, but I'm just trying to find out. Oh, it looks like it was just a knock.
I mean, even if he's not playing, the guys they can bring in are pretty pretty prolific as well. So
I don't know, man. Liverpool's midfield is almost like their defense last year. Like, if there's not certain people in it, then the team kind of suffers.
Yeah, I think Liverpool's depth thing is just wild. Like, some days it looks like they have amazing depth.
Yes.
But then at other points it looks like, it's Curtis Jones. So,
But he's even injured. And
yeah, he got something in his. I think somebody did something to his eye.
wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's better yet, but he was he playing that last game and then was taken out of it. Let's see. But yeah,
Keita is definitely gone. Harvey Elliott is definitely gone.
Right.
And I think Robertson had a hamstring. Like, he came off the Scotland game clutching his hamstring. So I don't know if that's something serious or not.
Damn.
But I think their backup left back Tsimikas, he's been pretty good this season. So I think they should be fine. In fact, Robertson,
I think he's suspect defensively though, Tsimikas.
Yeah.
He's good going forward. He can deliver a great ball, but I think he's not the best defensively.
I don't even rate him. You know who I rate as a left back? Tavares from Arsenal. I think we talked about him. Like even before the international break, he just did it again. It's like he just has this fearlessness that I noticed with like James from Chelsea when I first saw him. What's your guy's name from Chelsea?
Reece James.
Reece James, but even more so.
Yeah. Reece Garfield James,
Yeah. So you ever see Reece James' sister?
Yeah, Lauren James. She just moved. She's the she broke the transfer record for a
Get out of
woman,
here.
for a female
Yeah.
footballer.
Moved from United to Chelsea.
United to Chelsea this summer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's her position?
She's
forward.
kind of like a wide forward, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They look alike in the face so much.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes she sneaks. Whenever Reece James has a mediocre game, it's her.
Yeah.
They look alike.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool, I think they started the season really well, and they've had a lot of really good games. I think going forward, they've looked really good. But defensively, this is something that I at least wasn't really expecting to be an issue for Liverpool this season.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had a few holes there. I think Alisson's been good, but then last game he was at fault for some of the goals conceded. I don't think Robertson's been having a great season. Like even if without the injury, I don't think he's been at the level we know of Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
Van Dijk's been good, but like he's still coming back from that injury. So sometimes with that high line, he kind of can look suspect just from a pace point of view. I think they're still trying to find that perfect combination of Matip and Matip Van Dijk, or Konate Van Dijk.
It's funny they have it, Matip Van Dijk, and then Gomez, but now they got Konate, so you gotta experiment with Konate, who will probably be good. We was talking about how good he was before.
Konate has been good, but I mean, it's a question of are you actually gonna bench Matip for him, who's been your starting centre back?
Right.
I mean, I've been following a lot of these Liverpool channels, and they kind of hint at the fact that Klopp has his favorites, and that's great when you're trying to like have a rhythm into the team where you're just using the same 11 or the same 12 or 13 over a period of time. But sometimes if the team needs various options and you just refuse to use them, it can actually work against you.
Lee is such a spy. I've been listening to these forums. Neil, my bad. Neil is such a spy. He's like just always. He's like Tuchel. Like when that change in that game when they switched the backs. Was it the backs they switched?
No, the wingers.
The wingers. Like Neil's always looking for that piece of data or knowledge, or like let me slide into this forum and act like I'm a Liverpool fan. That's what y'all talking about over there.
Just trying to do a good job for the pod.
Yeah.
This is just prep work.
Yeah. How do you think Gerrard is going to discuss Gerrard at Villa?
Yeah, we went through that.
We had a big discussion there. We're down to the last two games now, I think.
All right, go ahead. I won't.
The Sunday ones, but so Man City, Everton.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Benitez will just go defensive there, try and get a draw.
He's on the road, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
City should be comfortable there, I think. Everton haven't looked great the last few weeks, although they're solid against Spurs, I guess.
I think this is where it starts getting tested, because I always had the feeling that, with the whole Rafa Benitez coming to Everton thing, the fans are just looking for an opportunity to like get at him. And he needs to like consistently do well for them to be on his good side. But if things start going like they're already not even, I think are they even in the top 10? I don't think they're in the top 10. So
they slipped a bit. They had some bad results.
They're 11th.
So I mean, I know what happened at Chelsea when Benitez did great at Chelsea, by the way, and he got booed the fuck out every match week by the home fans.
And he was great at Chelsea.
He was okay. I mean, he was like, I think he won us the Europa League, and I mean, he took over in the middle of the season, right? And we're not doing that well, so he did okay, but he was constantly peppered.
Because he coached Liverpool,
and he had a lot to say about Chelsea when he coached Liverpool.
Oh.
So now imagine being an Everton fan, that's like that times amplified.
Right.
So,
But Everton
yeah.
should be used. They always take and retread players from around the league. Now they're retreading their arch rivals coach. This is typical Everton style. So they should just take it like they take the players.
I don't think that fans realize that though.
I know they
I
don't.
think the Watford game was a big turning point for them as well. When they were at home and they were like winning, and then they ended up losing like 5-3,
Right.
with just a real capitulation kind of thing, like a real implosion. So I think that was where the tide started turning, and people were like, is this going to work? But yeah, if they could like nick a point off City or something, that might keep people quiet for a little bit. But if they get battered there, that'll be big questions asked again.
That'll keep Everton fans happy. It'll keep Liverpool fans happy. It's going to be a perfect day for Rafa Benitez.
And it'll keep you happy too.
It'll keep me happy too. Yeah, it'll keep his ex-team's fans happy too. Yeah.
Capitulation is a part of Everton's DNA. Like there's going to be runs in the season with whoever's the coach, where Everton is just going to capitulate. They just, because of the nature of their players, you know what I mean? So they have to like revine that squad for that not to happen.
What's the final game of the weekend? Spurs Leeds.
Go Leeds. And this is a Man U fan saying that.
I'll tell you why I'm rooting for Leeds, which is if Spurs lose and Southampton win, we go above Spurs.
Oh shit!
Which would just bring me no end of joy. I know it's only like a third of the way into the season or whatever, but I mean, any bragging rights over Martin is appreciated. So
let me ask you:
we can start calling it a Conte crisis if he loses this or something.
Would you want to take that chance for a week of glory when Leeds is going to be the team you most likely battle for a relegation spot? You want that?
I'd take that.
You take Leeds getting some points that you would hope they didn't have later on.
As long as we win as well, I'll take it.
All right.
Because it means we beat Norwich, which means another team is really in the shit.
Oh, that is. What you got on that game, Neil?
I think Spurs should win at home.
Yeah, I mean, this is it now. Like, he's had one game. People are going to start judging Antonio.
Damn. Judging him when he was
like this
international break.
Like I can't really articulate how unfit a match this is, Tottenham Hotspur and Antonio Conte. So the fact that it's just fascinating. Like the Amazon should probably bring their cameras back in and just let them run riot all over the
You know what they are this season?
Arsenal, yeah.
You think it's that unfit? I don't think it will last long, but I think it's going to last as long as it should last. And
I mean, it can work, but like you look at Antonio Conte, serial winner, going to Tottenham Hotspur, serial non-winner.
Let's say loser, serial loser.
Yeah, I just wanted to, Martin's gonna be back at some point.
We get to see which of those two forces is the strongest.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's Tottenham's failure or Conte's winning.
Yeah.
Well, it's always Tottenham.
Yeah. I mean, they managed to pull Jose Mourinho down, so at least not win anything.
Helped. But I don't know. I believe in. I don't think it's a great match, but I don't think Conte. It's not that he doesn't have to do much. The enthusiasm that they showed against Everton was pretty live. So let's see.
It might work, which will just make it even more fascinating. That how did it work? So that's what I'm saying. Like as a point of fascination, it's gonna be amazing to watch every game week.
Yeah, Conte.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of just intriguing matches. Like you know, Tottenham, Leeds. Leeds are struggling, right?
Mm.
They got some points on the board recently though.
Right. They're 15th. You're 13th. They have 11. You got 14. If they win, they tie with you. So you have to win or tie to stay ahead of them.
Mm.
Brentford won their last game.
No, they lost to Norwich.
Why is it showing a green check here for Brentford's last game? That's what I thought they lost.
Hmm.
Maybe I don't have an updated one.
Unless it was like their under 23s in the EFL Cup thing, Papa John's Trophy.
Papa John's. Jesus.
Oh, the EFL Cup.
Yeah, the one that all the under 23 teams.
Oh,
play.
yeah. The Czech Trade. It used to be called the Czech Trade Trophy for a while.
Yeah, it's now the Papa John's Trophy.
Oh, really? I thought you were making that up. It's actually the Papa John's Trophy.
They wanted to be even more demeaning.
I'm surprised England would do Papa John's to themselves. Like Papa John's.
I mean,
yeah, I don't order it.
They had.
And I eat all sorts of crap, but even I don't have Papa John's.
I mean, they had Carabao Cup, which was in Carabao was when I went to the bridge. Carabao was the energy drink sponsor for Chelsea, so I actually had one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Red Bull's not trying hard enough to give you a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go and have Carabao.
Carabao.
Like you can literally feel it
going down.
Yeah.
Carabao's like if someone sort of tried to make homebrew Red Bull.
It's moonshine.
Like it's like Red Bull made in a bathtub.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the blood of a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, straight
So
up from
it's
the
the
source.
watered down blood of a vampire.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's the League Cup.
So I guess did we cover it all?
Yeah, we're there.
We're there.
Yeah.
So
Think
football's
so.
back. Ha to Italy for not making it yet. What if Portugal draws Italy in the
Can they?
playoff?
Are they both seeded?
Yeah,
They're both seeded.
They're both
So I guess
seeded.
they can't.
Yeah. Doesn't seeded is like a nice way of saying it's fixed.
A little bit. Organized fixing.
Organized fixing, like legal fixing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because why? You all finished in the same position in your group. So why are you seeded? What does the seeding mean?
Well, I guess, they look at historical data.
Yeah. It means UEFA don't like Poland, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? You just made me agree with seeding. I forgot Poland was not unseeded. But that's crazy. What if Poland has to face Italy or Portugal? And
They will have to. They will have to face a decent team. The odds are that they will have to.
Yeah. And then, it's like Lewandowski. It's Lewandowski or the European champions, or Lewandowski, or it would make a great one match, but Lewandowski versus Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
By the way, Norway did not make it to the World Cup, so they're out, which means there's not going to be Erling Haaland at the World Cup.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Rest up ahead of wherever his big move's going to be. Well, he might have already made the move by the time the World Cup happens, because it's going to be like Christmas next year, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Or this time next year, the World Cup will be playing.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
And
really
Uruguay lost 3-0 to Bolivia, which means they are right now even outside the playoff spots. So if as things stand,
Is the South
they're
American
going
qualifiers still like just a giant league?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No groups.
Yeah, no groups.
Yeah, it's a giant league. They lost to, I think, was it Argentina earlier, like on the weekend or something, like 1-0.
Oh, maybe, but they lost to Bolivia. That had a red card, 3-0.
Holy Jesus Christ!
So yeah, Uruguay's not been having a good time. Yeah.
How would it? What was the most interesting question in the comment thing to answer?
I think it was about the whole the Villa, Steven Gerrard,
okay,
all of that.
The comment was saying that they should get Terry or Lampard.
Terry or Lampard.
They got neither of those guys. They got another ex-England player instead.
So I think they got the best one.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think Gerrard's resume looks at least the best because it's got no blemish on it.
Mm-hmm.
Terry does not have a resume yet.
Even though it's just weird that Terry shouldn't have left. He should have stayed at Villa, and it might have just handed it to him on an interim basis, but he left before the season started, and then they gave it to his ex-England mate.
Well, there's folks saying that if Terry did not leave, Villa's defense would still be good, and Dean Smith would not have been fired.
Because their defense.
John Terry posted something on Twitter today, like he posted like a sheet of like just like coaching diagrams and like training sessions kind of thing. So I think he's angling for something soon.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was a championship job.
Right. Is he taking like the licenses and all that stuff? Is he doing that?
Yeah.
I think he's already done that.
All of it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I guess we can wrap it up. Anybody else got anything to be out on?
No, just I'm terrified of the new manager effect that Dean Smith might bring to Norwich, but we'll see.
You are? Why? You think they'll win on the bounce, the new manager bounce?
I was saying to Neil, like, this is the game that we really should win, which terrifies me. I don't like these games.
It was also the game that, let me see. It's also the game that Brentford should have won last week or 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. Man, it would be funny. You will be clowned if you lose to Norwich.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. Even Norwich is gonna be like, you let us beat y'all? Anything, Neil, before you bounce?
No, I mean, I think Hassan Newton, as with any other manager, in those spots, would be highly motivated to keep doing well, because you never know when the call from Old Trafford might come through.
Mm-hmm.
So you got
listen.
You gotta keep.
It's not a bad coach; it's the quality of his players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he will do a better job than what Ole is doing right now.
Yeah, but I don't think we'd ever go for him.
Yeah,
like we ain't gonna. We're not gonna. Yeah,
I think United's like trying to be way too choosy right now.
How are they? They're not even asking anybody.
No, I mean that's the thing. Like, looks like you're above Conte, or
not above. We're in the club watching the hot girls go by, and watching other guys pick them up. We're not even buying a drink.
No, because you feel like when you're looking to buy a new phone, you feel like if I just wait another couple of months, and a better model might come through. So
it was more like that.
There's a lot of indecision right now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're just stood there holding a Nokia from the 1990s.
and calls are dropping.
1999s to be specific.
Yeah. You sound like you have one.
My dad did.
Your dad did? Hilarious. That's funny. Well, on that note, Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, for producing the show. Thank you guys for holding it down while I bounce a minute. We don't know where Martin's at. We'll see. We'll see if we have him on in a week or so. Or after Leeds beats him. And thank you guys, Neil, Lee, and everybody take care of themselves and one love.
All right. Ciao.